Hello Ringing Cedars readers, gardeners, co-creators alike. Today I wanted to shoot a quick video about Anastasia's method of planting that she talks about in book 1 of the Ringing Cedars of Russia series. So I want to first start by reading a direct quote from book 1 of the Ringing Cedars of Russia series. This is on page 77. Chapter is Advice from Anastasia, the seed as physician. Anastasia stated, "Every seed you plant contains within itself an enormous amount of information about the universe. Nothing made by human hands can compare with this information, either in size or accuracy. Through the help of these data, the seed knows the exact time, down to the millisecond, when it is to come alive, grow, what juices it is to take from the earth, how to make use of the rays of the celestial bodies, the sun, moon, and stars, what it is to grow into, what fruit to bring forth. And these fruits are designed to sustain man's life. More powerfully and effectively than any manufactured drugs of the present or future, these fruits are capable of counteracting and withstanding any disease of the human body. But to this end, the seed must know about the human condition, so that during the maturation process, it can satiate its fruit with the right correlation of substances to heal a specific individual of his disease, if indeed he has it or is prone to it. In order for the seed of a cucumber, tomato, or any other plant grown in one's plot to have such information, the following steps are necessary. Before planting, put into your mouth one or more little seeds. Hold them in your mouth, under the tongue, for at least 9 minutes. Then place the seed between the palms of your hands and hold it there for about 30 seconds. During this time, it is important that you be standing barefoot on the spot of earth where you will later be planting it. Open your hands and carefully raise the seed which you are holding to your mouth. Then blow on it lightly, warming it with your breath, and the wee little seed will know everything that is within you. Then you need to hold it with your hands open another 30 seconds, presenting the seed to the celestial bodies, and the seed will determine the moment of its awakening. The planets will all help it, and will give the sprouts the light they need to produce fruit especially for you. After that, you may plant the seed in the ground. In no case should you water it right off, so as not to wash away the saliva which is now covering it, along with other information about you that the seed will take in. It can be watered 3 days after planting." We are, in essence, providing the seed with information about us from its very first moment of awakening, nothing too far different than what a human child or infant experiences in its first moments can dramatically affect the rest of its life. I don't think it's going too far by saying that these fruits sustain more than just the physical body as well, or can heal more than just the physical body as well. And so by providing the seed with vital information about ourselves, we kickstart and catalyze this process of the true purpose of these plants and our true role as stewards and as co-creators with these plants. Anastasia also mentions that the planting must be done on days appropriate to each vegetable, and this is nothing new that cultures all around the world already don't practice. So today here in the Midwestern United States, the moon is in Capricorn, and it's almost a full moon, and so you want to pick your seeds and plant on days, and many of you probably already know this, but for those who don't, when the moon is in an earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, you want to plant generally root crops. When the moon is in an air sign, you want to plant generally flower crops and herb crops. And in a fire sign, generally fruiting crops, tomato, corn, pepper. And in a water sign, generally green, leafy green crops, kale, arugula, mitsuba, things of that nature. And it's also worthwhile saying that you want to always plant when the moon is waxing. When the moon is waxing, moisture and everything, your own energy is able to be more absorbed by the plants and by the seeds. And the seeds will germinate at a higher success rate than if the moon was waning. As you prepare your bed, you just want to make sure that you have the soil pretty well clear. And I had grown potatoes in this particular plot before, and so I didn't really have weeds because I had complete coverage over the ground, mounding my potatoes up and over. So weeds weren't really an issue, but I have lots of different, I have creeping Charlie here and yarrow and different, things growing all around that I don't necessarily take out. And if weeds come up while my stuff is growing, I don't necessarily take that out. After you get your bed ready, you want to make sure that the soil is pretty even and smooth. And this soil that I've just laid down, this is 4-year aged horse manure. It wouldn't even be considered compost. It's more just like organic matter at this point. It's very moist already, and so I don't need to water the surface. But if your soil is dry, you want to go ahead and give your soil a nice watering so that you don't feel like you need to water and wash away all the saliva and your genetic information that you have coated the seed with. I want to go ahead and demonstrate planting in this way, and I chose carrot seed because there's this common thing when planting carrot seed that you must keep it moist during its whole process of being in the ground, or else it can have very spotty germination. Let's get right into the demonstration. Firstly, it's very important that you find a seed company that is not coating their seeds with any toxic chemicals or all of that bad stuff. So the seed company I really prefer to use and highly recommend is actually right in my state of Missouri, but they're a nationally known company. It's called Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And so the carrot I will be using today is the New Carota carrot by Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. I believe this was like $3.50 for this packet, and there is a lot of seeds in here. So we're gonna get started. So as Anastasia says, it is completely okay to only plant a few. In this case, I'm gonna be doing a huge area of carrots, but I'm only gonna plant probably a section here and maybe a section later down there in this method. And we have to remember that plants are like people. They communicate. And so the information between these plants is gonna communicate. They'll share that information. And there's other methods that I'm gonna shoot more videos about, as far as soaking your feet in water with nettle juice or saltbrush juice to remove toxins or information from your body after the day has passed, usually done in the evening. But for now, we're just gonna jump right in with the seed demonstration. In the case that I'm doing such a small area, I'm gonna go ahead and do all of the seeds in this method. I'm just doing this little row right here. You have to be mindful. The tinier the seeds sometimes can get lost within your mouth. They can get stuck depending on how long you're holding and how many seeds you're doing. So placing it directly under the tongue is a really good way to ensure that you're not gonna lose any seed. When I have these seeds under my tongue for 9 minutes, I think it's really important to mention what you're thinking about. Sometimes I think about how this little seed got to me and the thousands, of wild varieties that have been hand-selected and cultivated by our ancestors to bring us these modern vegetables. Just the wonder of a seed itself and how one little tiny thing can bring me sometimes hundreds of pounds of food to eat. One other thing I like to think about, if none of those things inspire me, is the purpose. Why am I doing this? Why are we planting seeds in this way? Watching something start from a little dot. I mean, these carrot seeds are little specks, to then growing into something that nourishes you, and you can taste it and smell it and feel it. It interacts with your senses, and I find that to be such a fascinating thing to just ponder. And we go back to our pristine origins, and what is our role here as human beings, and what is really our purpose as co-creators here on this divine planet. And so there's a lot of wonderful things that you can be thinking about, and the more positive energy and loving thoughts that you can imbue into the seed, the more that fruit will reflect that in the product that it gives you, and the fruit that it yields, and the nourishment that it ultimately heals you with. So let's jump right in.
One thing that's worth saying is I don't keep a watch by me. I prefer to rely on my own inner sense to tell me when it's been at least 9 minutes. Of course, if having a watch close by makes you feel more comfortable and assured about this process, you can do so. In order to reduce soil compaction, I prefer to sit and put my feet on the spot where I will be planting. If you have a raised bed, this can be accomplished by bringing a chair to the edge of the bed, lifting your legs, and placing the bottoms of your feet onto the soil. Some seeds tend to draw saliva out of the mouth more than others. Saliva will maybe drip sometimes as you put the seeds into your hand. You just want to maybe make sure that you keep your hands over the spot where you will be planting so that this genetic information goes into where the seed will be planted. When planting the seed, it is important that you have excavated the holes with your hands or your toes. In this case, I have used my hands to create a very shallow furrow. Additionally, Anastasia also suggests that you spit into the hole where you are placing your seeds. To keep my carrot seeds moist and protected while they germinate, I use dried grass that I previously soak before I lay it a ½ inch thick on top of my seeds. Another role as gardeners and co-creators that Anastasia mentions is our job to define the purpose of each living thing in our garden, whatever it be for visual beauty, fragrance, food, or medicine. The plants await our divine appointment and eagerly fulfill the task that they are given. Thank you all for watching. If you are interested in joining our community or learning more about the Ringing Cedars books and the ideas in them, please visit AnastasiaUSA.land, the home of Ringing Cedars readers in the USA and Canada. You can also connect with fellow readers on our Facebook page and join our weekly community connection calls and guided meditations on Zoom. Thank you for perfecting the dwelling land, and happy co-creating.